Dixon is suing Tyler Perry, the individual, as well as his production studio.
Tyler Perry comes into his trailer, grabs him violently by the neck, grabs his...
Tyler Perry is gay. I know he's gay. He knows he's gay. We all have friends that know he's gay.
He claims they met at the 2019 opening party for Tyler Perry Studios in Atlanta. Dixon said,
when actor Derek Dixon walked into Los Angeles Superior Court on June 13, 2025, he didn't just file paperwork. He hurled a live grenade into the heart of two empires, Hollywood's billion-dollar Tyler Perry machine and the pulpit powerhouse of Bishop T.D. Jakes. The 46-page complaint demands $260 million in damages, accuses Perry of harassment, assault, and career sabotage, and plants Jakes squarely in the blast radius via eyebrow-raising ties to embattled music mogul Sean. If this story sticks, it won't just dent a studio or a megachurch, it could redraw the boundary line between fame, faith, and absolute power. Grab a seat. What follows is a deep dive into party invitations that turned into alleged propositions, million-dollar stage moments that refuse to die, and a social media rumor mill working overtime to connect every dot, real or imagined. The suit reads like a thriller. Group chats, screenshot timestamps, and a damage tally large enough to bankroll a blockbuster trilogy. Key claims: love bomb to leverage. Dixon says Perry promised roles on Ruthless and later The Oval, then mentored him by text before asking for something more personal. Role for romance barter. When he rebuffed Perry's alleged advances, Dixon's character was scripted into a hail of bullets, 4 shots to the chest in the season 1 finale. Physical boundary breach. The complaint details 2 alleged unwanted encounters, one inside Perry's Atlanta home, another in a Bahamas cast retreat, plus months of escalating messages. Psychological fallout. Dixon says insomnia, nausea, and near-zero cortisol pushed him onto antidepressants and PTSD therapy. His lawyers call it the receipt nobody can Photoshop. Perry's attorney, Matthew Boyd, dismisses the entire narrative as a scam, insisting evidence will collapse in cross-examination. September 2019, Dixon meets Perry while bartending at the studio launch gala. Perry encourages him to audition. November 2019 lands cameo on Ruthless, first flurry of late-night mentor texts. January 2020 visits Perry's home, claims first assault. Dixon keeps quiet, bigger role surfaces weeks later. October 2020 Bahamas cast retreat, second unwanted incident according to suit. December 2020 to 21, medical spiral, PTSD, Zoloft. Dixon starts logging evidence. January 2023, walks away from The Oval, leaves $400K on the table, lawyer up. June 13th, 2025, files lawsuit, internet meltdown begins. Rewind to September 2013. Cameras at Dallas Potter's house capture a surreal moment. Tyler Perry strides up mid-service, lays a hand on Bishop Jakes' shaved head, prays in tongues, and pledges $1 million to the church's youth center. Congregants roar, Twitter quivers. At the time, the scene was hailed as a feel-good mashup of faith and philanthropy. 12 years later, it's Exhibit A in the internet's Everything is Connected infographic. Critics ask, was the donation pure zeal or future insurance? Why did Jakes, a man already commanding $100 million conferences, need a public cash infusion? No one alleges wrongdoing in that clip, but optics evolve. Today, social media sleuths scrub every frame, arguing that such a public bond explains why Jakes' name keeps surfacing whenever Perry gets hit with scandal. In February 2024, music producer Rodney Lil Rod Jones sued Sean Combs for trafficking and assault. Tucked deep in the 98-page complaint, Combs allegedly intended to leverage his relationship with Bishop T.D. Jakes to clean up his public image after Cassie Ventura's bombshell settlement. Legal nuance. Jakes isn't accused of any crime, but the filing nonetheless cemented him in the narrative web connecting Hollywood, hip-hop, and megachurch money. Headlines wrote themselves, Sacred Pulpit or Celebrity PR Firm. TikTokers churned out split-screen hot takes depicting Perry studio sets and Jakes' sermons as 3 points of a sinister triangle. YouTubers quoted anonymous insiders claiming Jakes showed up at freak-offs. Combs alleged private soirees, though no footage has surfaced. Result, by the time Dixon's lawsuit dropped, the public was primed to believe every rumor had a red string counterpart already pinned on the wall. Yet Dixon isn't Perry's first accuser, and history has a habit of echoing louder the second time around. Long before the Oval, a 27-year-old production assistant named Joshua Soule sued Perry for $10 million in 2014, claiming sexual harassment by a studio supervisor, along with retaliation when he complained. Perry countersued, alleging Soule barricaded himself in ceiling panels, triggered an evacuation, and posed a threat. Both suits vanished behind sealed settlement papers. Fans later linked the saga to the now infamous Boondocks episode, Pause, featuring a flamboyant Christian filmmaker who traps his male lead in a compound. Rumor says Perry pressured Cartoon Network to yank reruns, a claim he denies, yet the episode disappeared for years. Whether coincidence or cautionary tale, Soule's case foreshadows Dixon's central theme, a generous gatekeeper who allegedly flips when boundaries appear. And that gatekeeper image is perhaps why social media's reaction to Dixon's suit was instant and ferocious. Within 48 hours of the court filing, number Tyler Perry trended in 16 countries. Fan camps split. Some defended Perry as a trailblazing philanthropist. Others compiled montage videos of every rumor since 2006. TikTok psychics resurfaced. One self-proclaimed medium claimed she saw Perry's fall 2 years ago and predicted a megachurch king will crumble. Her clip gained 3 million views overnight. Reddit sleuths dug up everything, from Perry's estranged friendship with director Spike Lee to a resurfaced interview where comedian Cat Williams called Perry untouchable but nervous. The noise crescendoed when Bishop Jakes' Christmas Eve 2023 sermon clip resurfaced. In it, he said, "If everything they say were true, the blood would fix it, but I ain't gotta repent for this." Some heard defiance, others smelled preemptive defense. Yet beneath viral memes and fiery takes, a quieter drama unfolds, the legal chessboard. Legal analysts predict Dixon versus Perry will hinge on 3 pivotal battlegrounds. Discovery scope. If the judge allows phone forensics and studio HR emails, new names could surface. Perry's side will fight to keep the Oval writers' Slack channels sealed. Third-party subpoenas. Dixon's camp may subpoena Bishop Jakes for any communication referencing funding, donations, or reputation rehab strategies. Lawyers call that a PR nightmare waiting to happen, even if Jakes never sets foot in court. Insurer pressure. Entertainment insurers often push for settlement to cap costs, but Perry reportedly told confidants he'd never cut a hush check on lies. If true, expect scorched earth depositions, timing matters. Perry's next Netflix release is slated for Thanksgiving 2025. Investors hate uncertainty. Meanwhile, Jakes' annual Woman Thou Art Loosed Legacy Conference pulls 25,000 attendees every October. A subpoena landing that month could rattle both ticket sales and tithes, and rattling the faithful could prove the most lasting damage of all. Bishop Jakes stands at an unusual intersection. Televangelist, real estate developer, talk show host, and friend to everyone from Oprah to rappers. Supporters hail him as a modern apostle. Critics call him a brand manager investments. Economic reach. Potter's House runs homeless outreach, prison ministries, and a film production arm that helped distribute miracles from heaven. Celebrity circle. Beyond Perry and Combs, Jakes has been photographed praying with Kanye, counseling Justin Bieber, and appearing on Dr. Phil. The upshot? Every new scandal around his Rolodex chips paint off the pulpit, and Dixon's lawsuit took a chisel to the base. But Jakes isn't merely a bystander in legal skirmishes. He's filed his own. In November 2024, Jakes sued Pittsburgh pastor Dwayne Youngblood for claiming Jakes assaulted him in the late 80s. Youngblood doubled down. Jakes' lawyers demanded damages. The case is pending, but insiders say the bishop is prepared to testify to protect his legacy. Observers note a pattern. When allegations turn personal, Jakes opts for the offensive. Lawsuit for lawsuit. That posture signals he may intervene legally if Dixon's team tries to rope him into discovery. But if subpoenaed as a witness, refusal could look like avoidance. Either route risks headlines. Meanwhile, Hollywood peers are quietly gaming out the ripple effect. Studios watching. Bet's parent company, Paramount, reportedly froze early talks for a new Perry-produced drama pending lawsuit updates. actors whispering some cast members from Ruthless and The Oval have retained counsel, just in case Discovery expands. Sponsors sweating. A Fortune 500 brand was days from announcing a Potter's House partnership. Press release, scrapped. Entertainment attorney Lisa Blake notes, in the non-Me Too era Hollywood, perception swings deals faster than verdicts. Translation, even if Perry wins, the clock's ticking on damage control. And controlling damage isn't just a corporate chore, it's a spiritual reckoning for many fans. For millions, Perry's rise symbolized possibility. A homeless playwright turned billionaire who never hid his faith. Bishop Jakes represented spiritual guidance that felt current, entrepreneurial, and, until now, bulletproof. Dixon's narrative challenges both myths. If a mogul used a promise of success as bait, what happens to dreamer hopefuls lining studio gates? If a bishop's inner circle overlaps with Hollywood's wild side, can he still preach holiness without irony? Community boards swarm with heartbreak. I laughed at Medea with my grandma every Easter. Now I'm sick to my stomach. I got saved at a Jakes conference. How do I face my teens class on Sunday? Real or fabricated allegations force a collective gut check. Which heroes survive the spotlight? And is grace possible when NDAs fail? The questions spill beyond individual guilt into systemic change. Since 2017's Weinstein reckoning, Hollywood has added hotline posters, intimacy coordinators, and mandatory training. But Dixon's suit suggests loopholes. Power broker isolation. When your boss is also the studio owner, HR becomes a suggestion box. Geographic bubbles. Atlanta's booming film scene has looser union oversight than Los Angeles. Dixon's camp says that Gap let harassment roam free. Megachurch gray zones. Faith institutions aren't subject to the same workplace laws, yet often overlap with entertainment deals. Film screenings, music projects, conferences. Jakes' empire showcases that blurred line. Labor advocates argue Dixon versus Perry could spark new guidelines for non-union sets and collaborative agreements between studios and faith groups. But let's zoom back out, because public attention ultimately hinges on how this ends. Quick settlement, 40% odds. Insurers push a mid-8-figure check plus NDA. Dixon gets closure. Perry admits no wrongdoing. Jakes avoids deposition. Downside, conspiracy theorists claim payoff equals guilt. Full trial, 30% odds. Depositions leak, new witnesses emerge. Even a defense verdict could torch reputations. Protracted standoff, 30% odds. Motions, delays, appeals drag into 2028. Public loses interest, but Google never forgets. Entertainment litigator Cruz Morales says, the longer Perry fights, the more Discovery can snowball. But if he truly believes Dixon fabricated everything, settlement feels like hush money. And hush money, once whispered online, echoes forever. Which brings us to the only certainty, viewer curiosity. We opened with a grenade. Now the shrapnel is suspended in midair, waiting for judges, jurors, and perhaps a higher power to decide where it lands. Will Tyler Perry emerge vindicated, the lawsuit collapsing under scrutiny? Will Derek Dixon's evidence crack open a vault of secrets bigger than one studio lot? Could Bishop Jakes' halo dim under the weight of association? Or will he step out unscathed, sermon in one hand, defamation victory in the other? Tell us, is this the beginning of Hollywood's next great reckoning, or a high-stakes shakedown spiraling out of control? Drop your thoughts below, smash that like button if you value deep dives over hot takes, and hit subscribe, because this saga is far from its final act, and we'll be here to unpack every unseen chapter as it unfolds. In showbiz and church alike, what's whispered in private eventually blares through a megaphone, and you just heard the opening verse.